What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Scooter. This is my garage. Today we're going to be talking about what happened to this guy. It's in pretty bad shape. I can't even turn it unless I use a pair of pliers. But quickly, before we get into that, a quick little shop update. I know I said that I was going to post some stuff from West Virginia. Unfortunately, that weekend did not go as I had planned, and it was a lot of mechanical issues, mainly with Swamp Monster. But I figured I'd give you guys a little update on that. The 350X did great. It was smoking, and unfortunately, I did find some metal in the oil filter housing when I changed the oil when I got back, and that's not good. But I planned on taking the motor out and freshening it up anyway, because I know this guy is like 115 psi compression. It did good. I didn't realize, because I didn't check, that there was no nitrogen in the rear shock before I left, and it was an extremely rough ride. I put probably 20 miles on it. I think I do have some video from that, and I may try to post that here shortly. But other than that, it did perform good. It did develop a pretty serious leak on this fork seal, but the forks need to be replaced anyway, so there'll be some more stuff coming up on that. That one's getting a motor pulled out and a refresh, like I just said, so we'll do something on that. On to the problem child. To say that things didn't go as I had planned with this machine would be an understatement. The motor started burning oil at an alarming rate. I'm not really sure why. It is still burning oil, but not as bad. Compression's good, so that means one or two things. Either the valve guide seals are wiped out, or the oil rings are shot, because it's still got 150 psi compression, which isn't bad. It still runs great, makes a little bit of noise, but you know, whatever. It's a Can-Am, they all make noise. Managed to blow the rear end up, which I know why that happened. I jumped it a little too high and came down and got back, hit the throttle a little too soon, and I think it busted something. But before we get to that, drop a comment and let me know what you think happened to that before we go opening it up. Let's see what you guys. I think I know what happened. I'm pretty sure I know why it's doing what it's doing. But leave a comment with your thoughts. What else happened? The rear drive shaft bolt at the transmission came out and started pissing gear oil everywhere. Thankfully, I didn't lose a lot, and I was able to get it tightened back up and filled back up. The gauge quit working. It started doing that weird stuff. People have posted about it before. It's like all R's at the bottom of the screen. It says negative mileage. It's doing all kinds of weird stuff. Speedo's not working. Tach won't read. And then it just up and died. It still powers up, and it still lights up. There's just no display on it. With the torture test video I'm doing tomorrow for, well, I'll show you the part here in a minute. I won't have any information. I know where the check engine light is in case something goes wrong, but I won't know what my fuel is, what RPMs I'm running, whatever. End of the season, I'll deal with it later. I think other than that, this wasn't really terrible, but those problems were serious enough that it kind of put a pretty big damper on the weekend. I actually ended up driving my brother-in-law's Razor one day because I didn't want to ride that thing, and this one was down. I just parked it because I didn't want to horse it anymore. The top end was making noise. I had to adjust the valves actually yesterday. I would have done a video on that, but it's too much of a pain to get in and out of there and actually show you guys what's going on. But yeah, so that's where we stand with this. On to this little gem, the reason why I'm making this video today. Like I just said, it doesn't turn. I could put a pair of pliers on it and crank it over and it'll spin around, but it's very, very chunky. Did you leave a comment down there? What do you think happened? Before we go open it up, drop a comment down there. But yeah, I had just put new seals and new bearings in this, like one ride before I left to go down there. So unfortunately, any of that stuff's junk. The fluid that came out of it was like, it looked like somebody had set off a glitter bomb in there. And I'm pretty sure I saw some other pieces in there that shouldn't be there, but let's get this thing opened up. Switch to the big pry bar. Hope you guys can see what's going on here. These can be a bit of a pain to get open, which isn't a bad thing because they're sealed with an O-ring, so you kind of want, you don't want it just pissing fluid out everywhere because the seal isn't holding. I actually think, nope, I didn't do that this time. There's no silicone in there. Come on, show us your secret. Oh, yeah. That's bad. Let's see what this bearing looks like. I don't want to lose that shim. Yeah, that bearing is just, she's junk. These ones didn't have that many miles on them either, which is a bit concerning, but these are not OE bearings. I think I want to say I used all balls, but I'm pretty hard on my differentials, so yeah. So that's probably what all this material is here. That's all. The bearings literally eating themselves as they spin around. So, God, thank God you guys can't smell this. Whew. I actually changed the fluid in this because I thought maybe I could get away with it, but was not happening. You ready? You ready for the real bad part? Since I can get this out of here. Oh. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought had happened. We're missing big chunks of teeth. And judging by the looks of things, I don't really know why it did this. It had to have lost this bearing in here, this little needle bearing. I didn't change that one when I took it apart, and I knew damn well that I should have, and I didn't. And this is what happens when you don't change that bearing. This one was even already, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, right here. You see that little hole there? That's a modification you got to make to these, because there's no way really except for right through this little crack, for oil to get down to that bearing. So you drill this little 6mm hole here so it can come through from the opposite side and actually lubricate that bearing, because that is a main failure point with these needle bearings go bad, and then this pinion bearing pinion gear just starts walking all over the place. But this was just, I mean, it was literally eating the case. And I'm kind of glad I parked it, because that was probably one hard snap of the throttle away from just completely losing all drive to the rear end. Let me get a grease rag, because this stuff smells so bad. What about you? What about you folks? Do you hate the smell of gear oil too, or is that just like only a certain people thing? But yeah, you can see, I mean, there's chunks of teeth all over in here. Big old chunks of teeth too. So there's definitely no saving this one. Don't want to lose these shims though. And that brings me to another point of contention with these things, and they're not shimmed right from the factory. They never are. There's always too much backlash in the gear. And then that's why, because they're straight cut, they also heat up a lot faster. And you got to get that. You got to get them shimmed right, or it just eats itself alive. There's even more material up here. There's more chunks of teeth in there. It chewed up the case pretty bad. It might be savable if I can get it cleaned up, but it's definitely going to need a new, like, that actually isn't that bad. The outer bearing might be a little, yeah, that needle bearing's a little wiped out. This bearing, same thing. These bearings, it might be because there's so much crap from the pinion gear literally eating the case that they may just be sticky. I don't know. But that thing is, she's done. So, with that being said, oh, I put these shims on the wrong side. Yeah, you know what? Doesn't really matter at this point. Just drop that back in there and forget that we even opened that. So were you right? Were you correct about what you thought was wrong with it? Oh, and on a more positive note, I see we're up to 70 subscribers, which is pretty damn cool. If you guys could, let's see if we can get the channel to 100 by like the second week in November. I'm thinking about doing like a little giveaway once we hit 100 subscribers. I haven't decided on what it's going to be yet. It might be like some Mud Love cleaning products or something along those lines. But we'll try to do something. Get this one out of here, because that is junk. I don't know if you saw the box sitting on the floor or not, but that's the one we're replacing it with. And the reason why I'm replacing it with that one is because I see a lot of times people asking about these cheap Amazon differentials on the Can-Am Facebook groups. So I figured, what the hell? People are always asking. It's differing opinions. Some bought them, some haven't. Some have had good luck with them, some of them hadn't. So I figured, what the hell? Why not? Let's grab one. We'll throw it in because I needed one anyway, and we'll torture test it. Well, I'm taking this out in the mud tomorrow, probably for a full day of riding, depending on what the motor does, if it decides to hang in there, which that's getting rebuilt this winter too, but we're going to be putting some horsepower goodies on that one. Where was I going with this? Yep. So anyway, we're going to throw that one in, and we're going to see what it can handle, because I'm going to put my 29.5 Assassinators on, and we're going to be hitting some pretty deep mud. It's assuming that the areas are open that were the last time we went there. But let's I'm going to throw this thing up on the bench. We'll do a quick unboxing. We'll get a good look at it. And I mean, I got to say, for a cheap differential, the packaging is pretty good. It's all encased in foam. I mean, look at it. It looks like an OE diff. And it even comes with a new bolt for the drive shaft. Come on, get out of there. So, I mean, it does look like, God, my lighting's terrible. Apparently one of my lights went out. It does look like it's pretty good quality. I mean, it looks just like OE, which obviously it should. One thing, and it's the same with most, differentials when you buy them. I think even the dealer, it's the same way. They don't come with a drain plug, so make sure you don't mess up your drain plug when you're pulling it out of your old one. They're Allen heads, and they do strip very easily. My biggest concern with this, I mean, it looks good. It does. Two main concerns. These seals and the bearings. Not 100% on how that's going to play out. All right, sorry about that little pause there, folks. Well, I mean, it was a pause for me, but it was like nothing for you guys. Anyway, like I was saying, my biggest concern is the bearings and the seals. A lot of times these aftermarket, Chinesium bearings and seals are not made to the same quality as factory. So we'll see what happens there. I got to crack this thing open and drill that little hole to lubricate that needle bearing. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I'll be taking it out tomorrow. We'll have another video up here shortly to see how it did, while we're out riding. There'll be some, riding stuff cut in there with, me talking about it. But, I mean, I don't know if you guys can even hear that or not. There really isn't a lot of play there. Pretty close to like a factory rebuild. So yeah, we'll give her hell, and I'll post a little review about it once we beat the crap out of it to see how it holds up. I mean, if it can handle 29.5 Assassinators in the mud and water and stuff, I don't see why it couldn't handle, trail riding and stuff like that. What a lot of people do with their machines. Ooh, one. Oh no, those are T40s. Okay, I was gonna say it looked like these were different, but the bolts and everything are all the same. Quality case from what it looks like. Looks just like OE. So yeah, I'll quit my rambling. I'll get this thing put in. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should do that because there'll be a video coming up shortly about how this thing, or well, us out playing around and then how it held up at the end of it all. So yeah, make sure to like and drop a comment. Hell, even if you don't like the video, click that dislike button. Any kind of engagement helps the channel greatly. That being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one when we see how well this thing held up or didn't hold up, I guess. Until next time, keep shiny side up.